So let's get the profit attributable to ordinary shareholders, who are the members of the group. So 2017, 2018, shillings are in millions. Shillings are in millions. So now. Reported profit after tax. So there is reported profit after tax. EFT. How much is the profit after tax? 450. 650. We less what? We less preference what? Preference dividends, because they never say that we are members of the group. So subtract preference dividends. So preference dividends, check in the capital structure. Check the capital structure. In the capital structure, preference, we have two of them. There's redeemable and this other one. So we say, maybe if you forgot, redeemable preference, they are viewed as loan providers. Because to redeem means they get back, so they get back their money. So normally it's treated as a loan, and therefore the dividends you pay them in the books, any accounting in the books is supposed to be classified as part of what? Finance cost. So you don't treat it as dividend per se. So the one which we are going to consider is this other one, the 10% convertible preference. So Kavi tell us preference dividends will be 10%. 10% times what? 500. Yes, that's 500. So the dividends is how much? 50. 50. Therefore, profits for the year attributable to the owners of the group who are the parent is 400. This one is 600. How is the financial year? How is our financial year moving? It ends when? 1st December. So that is better. It starts on 1st January. Fine. So I want us to check one-offs for 2017. So 2017, before we start, there was a rights issue. It took place in which year? It was rights issue in Yoshida. When did the rights issue took place? Or not one? So rights issue took place in 2018. So 2017 will be fine. So right there, one-offs. Let's do the one-offs computation then. So one-offs will be, give us the dates, details, followed by what? Dates, details, we follow with shares, then shares we follow with weight, then one-offs itself at the end. Good. So you must start at the beginning of the financial period. Beginning of the financial period. For beginning, it starts on 1st of January. So 1st January 2017. 1st January 2017. 1st January 2017. Details will be balance brought down in terms of shares. So can you go to the capital structure, check the shares which were there in the capital structure in terms of shares, not monetary value. 2017, 2000 divided by 10, giving us
Divided by 100.
Divided by 100, so the 20. No, the mouth and the hand are down. So that is 20. So those shares are expected to be there for 12 months. So 1 is 20. So was there another 2017? We'll check note number 2. I don't like you want some 2 issues. 2017, so I want to check. The convertible loan stock was issued in 2017. Each shillings 1,000 of the loan stock is convertible to 25 ordinary shares. Holders of 300 worth of convertible stock exercised their rights in 2018. So nobody exercised in 2017. So nobody converted into shares. So 2017, it means there was nothing. So you closed with 20, even 1 is 20. Therefore, basic EPS for 2017 will be the profit, which was 400, divided by the weighted average, which is 20, giving us shillings how much? 20 per share. This company seems to be very nice. For every share you have, you are entitled to 20. Then once you invest after 2 years, let's go to 2018. 2018, there was a rights issue. So rights issue. Kuna formula nyingine iliyoonyesha ile alternative B. Which one do you want? To stick ile yetu ya kwanza. So 3 steps. 1, let's get the share movement. Share movement. There's a rights issue. 2018. Share movement 2018. So right there, dates, details, and we have what? Shares. So balance 1st January, balance brought down. How many shares? 20. So go back to the notes. Go back to the notes. Then you observe the dates. You observe the dates. Pole. I don't know why this was. I don't know whether it was intentional or just a coincidence. There are some people who converted their loan stock into shares. When did they convert? 1st of January. And rights issue took place when? 1st April. That is why I'm saying I don't know whether I come examine and I don't know, because always the dates should go in that order. So January will have to come first. So January, conversion. There was conversion of loan stock. What was the policy? If you want to convert, what was the policy of conversion? You get how many ordinary for how much? Each shilling is 1,000 of the loan stock is convertible to how many ordinary? 25. So you get 25 ordinary for every shillings 1,000 of the loan stock. How much was converted? They converted how much? 300. So this shillings 300 will give you how many ordinary? For every shilling 1,000, you get 25 ordinary. 300 will give us how many ordinary? Give them how many ordinary? 7.5. 7.5. Proceed. So the next date is the one in note 1, 1st April. What happened? Right? there was rights issue. On what basis? How are they given the rights? A shareholder was granted to right issue. One new ordinary share for every 5. 1 for every 5. And how many are we having as we talk? How many are we having as we talk right now? 27.5. You check the ones in total above. So we have 27.5. So through the rights issue, we got how many shares? Yes? 5.5. So through the rights issue, we raised 5.5. Let's go to note number 3. The convertible preference shares were issued in 2015. One convertible preference share is entitled to 1 new ordinary share. They have not said whether they converted it, so irrelevant. Note 4. Meanwhile, on first this, the company granted employees all those questions which they are employees were converted. Where might that solve? Have they converted? No. So, and how many shares will we be having in the capital structure? 33. It is the same with the one they are giving us, the movement. They said movement was due to what? Yes, it is tallying with 2018, which is okay. Now, our step 2 is to calculate what we call X what? X rights price. Can you calculate for me that X rights price? Using that information in note 2. Can you calculate the X rights price? You can consult neighbor if you are not sure. If the neighbor is not helping you, you have opportunity of going to another neighbor. So, Theoretical for the first time, imekuja ngapi? X-right price? 154. 24. 124. Okay. One new at what price? At 120. Are you sure? Yes. That one is one. For how many held? For 5 held. At what price? 125. Giving you 625. 6. This one? 725. 745. Therefore, X-right price is always the average. 745 divided by 6. 1.2, whichever. That is good. So let's do the one-offs, having that one there. Do the one-offs without any problem. So one-offs. You check the ordinary shares before rights issue. Ordinary shares before the rights issue. So before rights issue, we were having how many shares? 27.5. Sure. So we were having 27.5. Then you now bring the X rights into the picture. whereby you consider the market price before the rights issue, which was 125, divided by 124.17 times the period before the rights issue. Rights issue took place on 1st April. So how many months are those? 3 months. So those are 3 months. So can you weigh that one first before we move? So when you do that, you get 6. What line? What? 2. Shares after the rights issue. 33. 33 you multiply with the remaining period. The remaining period is how many months? 9 months. Nine months. That one comes to 24.75. So add the 2. Lapi? 31.67. Therefore, basic EPS for 2018 will be the shares profit 600 divided by the one-offs, which is 31.67, giving us 18.95 per share. There is something which was not asked, but I want to bring it in the picture. What if you are told to restate the EPS? Can you restate for the EPS? Restated EPS. Of course, you are restating for which year? 2017. Can you restate? You have the opportunity to check how we were doing restatement. That's why we are here. We are learning. So you can make a refer. What is the restated EPS? If any, I'm giving you humble time. Online, is there someone giving me restatement? No, that one was that one. How do we restate in this case? We take the EPS previous year, which was 20.
Yes.
You multiply with X right price, which is 124 over
Camrines 125.
25. So what?
19.87.
19.87.
87.
Where's the restated EPS? So when you're restating, whenever there is rights issue, you take the EPS previous year, you multiply with X rights price over the CAM rights price. All right, now let's go to diluted, assuming there is no question. Diluted earnings per share. The one for which year? Both.
Yes.
That is dangerous. Let's go to dilution for 2017. So diluted EPS. So first of all, check for me the potential securities which were there in 2017. Check the potentials in 2017 first. Let's identify them. Which ones can you be able to see? Huh? There was convertible preference shares, so there was 10% convertible preference. Agree? Tick. The other one, 10% convertible loan stock. Options, I saw options somewhere. Were they the report 2017? Check note 4.
No. 2018.
2018, eh? So options were not, options are also potential, eh? Yeah. But they were in 2018, not 2017. So for 2017, we only deal with these two: convertible preference and convertible loan stock. Redeemable, we are not dealing with it because it lacks what? Which clause? Convertible. It must have the word convertible. So let's start with this one here, convertible preference. So 10% convertible, so that is our number one, or A, convertible preference. So convertible preference, we are checking two things. Eh? We check incremental earnings. Incremental earnings. You check when these people will convert, what will we save as a company in terms of the company's earnings? So this one, you check the dividends. Eh? When they are preference, we pay them preference what? Dividends. When they convert, they will no longer receive the preference dividend. So we assume that is what they are saving. So you check 10% times the value in 2017. So go to the capital structure. What was the value of the preference, convertible preference in 2017? 500. Eh? So 500. That one gives you 50. Yes, nobody converted. Incremental shares. So we are working on assumption that what if they will. Nobody converted, but what if they will convert? So incremental shares you check the policy. Examiner will tell you if they want to convert this for this, this for this. So can we check note number 3? The convertible preference shares were issued in 2015, Kitambo. One convertible preference share is entitled to one ordinary, 1 for 1. So you get 1 ordinary for 1 preference. How many preference? It is in terms of shares. You get 1 ordinary share for 1 preference share. So how many ordinary are we having? How many preference? Yes, how many preference are we having? 5. The 500 divided by 100. Eh? So we have 5. So in case all of them will convert, shares will go up by 5. So incremental earnings per what? Earnings per share will be 50 divided by 5, which gives us 10. Yes, gives us 10. Leave that one at that stage. Let's go to B. Let's go to B. Let's go to B. Let's go to B. B, we want to check 10% convertible loan stock. So 10% convertible loan stock. 10% convertible loan stock. So for 10% convertible loan stock, there are some people who converted. So kuna 300 which were converted. So for those who have converted, deal with them up to the date of conversion. So this way, incremental earnings. Incremental earnings. Incremental earnings. So for the convertible loan stock, earnings you check in terms of what? Interest. So only interest. So you check the interest. So you come and say it is 10%. Fortunately, there were some people who converted. So you separate them. Those who converted, we paid them for that particular period. So times what value was converted? Shillings? 300.
Yeah.
Times how many months? They were paid for how many months? They earned interest for how many months? So that we can know we will save for that particular period, come next financial period. When did they convert during that year? 1st January. So these people never earned any what? Hakuna interest walilipwa? Oh, we're in 20? Oh, conversion was in 2018. So thank you. Sorry for that. They converted in 2018. So in 2017, walikuwa. So it is 10% of the whole amount. The whole amount is? The whole amount is 1,500, sure. So you assess for the whole year. Times what? 0.7. 0.7 comes for tax. Interest you take pre-tax 70%. This is how we wire. Utapata mtu ameshika hiyo hata akienda kwa dividends. Utapata multiply 0.7. Dividends is subject to withholding, which is final. So usisumbue. So please don't forget this. How much is this? 105. So I have somewhere here 105. Then incremental shares. Incremental shares. If they want to convert, though they never converted that year, but as an investor, you have to work on what if. Senor? Yes. What was the policy of conversion? You get what for what? You get 25 for every 1,000, yes. What if they converted the entire 15? What if they convert the whole 15? They will get how many shares? Shares will go up by 3. Yes.
So I was looking at this question. I would not consider on the 10 levels issue. We just checked it for the whole year.
Were they not issued on first?
They were saying the convertible loans to.
Note number 2, eh?
Yes.
When you want to changanyisha?
So I'm somehow back next there.
Imetosha. Nishaona. I'm not captured that it is true. If you check note 2, it was just an oversight. Eh? Note 2, the loan stock was issued on when? Underline that. 1st July. We will be unfair to give them for the whole year. At your paraphrase. How many months? So I wait them for 6 months. I hope you Kiswahili unasema ni ya ukweli. Unajua kuna rafiki yangu tulienda naye kwa seminar fulani. Kaanza kuambia watu in the books of what in those books. So nikamuuliza after the seminar, wewe hizi tunasomanga sana ngapi? Aliambia hakuna, hata yeye akiulizwa hata kuna kitabu kama hiyo. Na alikuwa anapigiwa makofi. Na sisi tukupigiwa makofi. So have you studied us na ukaona tujui Kiswahili? Sasa unatuambia this is 52.5. Thank you for the observation. We cannot do the whole year because they issued them on 1st July. So this divide by this, I don't have space, so you can write down there earning, incremental earnings per share. So you take this, divide by this. You get, when you divide, you get 2.8. So kindly rank them. Rank them. There were only 2. Which one takes position 1? In this one? The least. The least is ranked first. So when we want to convert, the first people to be invited should be the loan stock holders, followed by the preference. So let's go to the final stage of computation. So you say DPS. So ranking, you rank based on the effect of EPS. This one has least effect, this one has the highest effect. So the one with the least are the first ones to be welcome. They will not have a very big impact on companies' earnings. So DPS computation. DPS computation, you say potential ordinary shares. You say here earnings. Earnings here stands for PAUS. You say shares. Shares stands for WANOS. Then DPS computation. Yeah. So how that arrangement online? How that arrangement? So what do you want to dilute? What are we diluting? Basic, yes. So we are diluting the basic. So you start from basic EPS, from basic EPS. Basic EPS, what was the earnings, the power, the numerator? We got 400. So 400, this was 20. So EPS was how much? That is how we got the basic for 2017. Yes. Then now, assume that these people are joining. They are joining the company. The first to join is the one with the least effect. So 10% convertible loan stock. 52.5, while shares will go up by 18.75. So kindly add, this is 452.5, this is 38.75. So take this, divide by this, you get the new earnings. Get the new earnings. Napata ngapi? 11. 11.668. Bring number 2, which is 10% convertible preference. So convertible preference, when they come, 55. Add, then get the new EPS based on the new values. Okay, so what do your EPS? Ama? Unaweza flop sana kabisa. Wale wakijisikia, sio? However, they should bring any. Hiyo spirit ya ndio mzuri. Let them bring any. Yenye wanaona iko sawa walete. So when you add, this one is 5.5. Eh? This one is 40. New EPS. 49. Therefore, diluted EPS is the last of the list. Huh? The list of the last. The list. So here the list is the last. You might find the list being within. So our last is the list. You pick the list of all those share. That is the list it will ever go in 2017. Now imagine on the reporting, yenye ilikufanya unataka kwenda huko. EPS was trading at 20. Na uko na pesa. Uko na 1 billion. Well, 1 billion right now when you're in class. Ukipewa 1 billion, can it survive you for the entire of your life?
No.
Yeah? No, without investing, just use it. It can. Be honest. How much on average do you use per day? Let's be honest. Yeah. In a day.
2008.
In a day. Order. Madeke is using 2,800 per day. Do you know when you use when you have 1 billion you can use 50,000 per day. 50,000 per day for 50 years. If you have 1 billion and you're using 50,000 per day, you will use it for the next 50 years. So you multiply. A year is how many days? If you multiply 365 times 50 days, 550 years. How many days are those? 19,000. How many days?
54 years.
Ngoja. Wait. How many days are those? 18,000. 250 days. Times 50,000 per day. Yeah? 900 something. That million. So here madenge ya 2,800 per day. Hebu tuone anaweza tumia for how many days? Lakini kwa siku utafika 50,000 na hiyo usifika kwa siku, sio? So imagine ukiwa na 1 billion and you use 50,000 every day, you will use it for the next 50 years.
Mwalimu ukiwa na pesa,
Eh.
hata lifestyle will change.
Yeah, it will change. It will just be the same.
50 ni kidogo.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah, 50 ni kidogo in a day.
Breakfast.
You will even be spending 1 million every day.
Yes.
All right, let's go to 20. Aliza anasema and you live for 100 years. All right, let's go to 2018. Let's identify the securities, the potentials in 2018. There will be 3 of them.
Yes.
Ile convertible preference, nobody converted in 2017, sure. So they are still there. At the back. Why? Who online? Oh, Joyce Kimani. Oh, sawa. So unajua lazima to be confirmed, labda customer wametuma mtu wewe kwenda waangalie what are they saying the last day. But kama ni Joyce ni sawa. So 10% convertible preference due to change equal emergency. 10% convertible loan stock. Then we have which one? Options. Options came up in 2018. Options came up in 2018. So we'll do the same. Let's start with the 10% convertible preference. It will just remain the same. Because is there anyone who converted in 2018? Huh? So, but for marks, usiseme ati because it is the same, usifanye ufanye hizi zingine utapoteza some marks in 2018. So let's start with this. So 10% convertible preference. Yes.
Okay, on the side of the option.
Yes.
You said whenever there's anything to do with options, we can do it that one.
Why? Because 0.
About the options.
Why do you want to leave it aside?
Some of them is
Because your shares lazima itaenda juu. Employees wakichukua. So incremental earnings. Incremental earnings. The earnings itakuwa 0, but shares will go up. So incremental earnings the same. Nobody converted, but what if? So we umekuja hiyo stock market 2018. So 10%, you check the dividends. 10% of preference balance will change, but capital structure still constant. 500. So that is 50. Incremental shares. Incremental shares. What was the policy? If you want to convert 1 for 1, 1 for 1 times 5. This one was giving us 5. So incremental earnings per share, this is 10. Let's go to convertible loan stock. Convertible loan stock. So 10% convertible loan stock. Convertible loan stock. Incremental earnings. Incremental earnings. Remember, there are some people who converted. The people who converted, you check they were paid interest for how many months? For how many months? It was 0. Those who converted up to the date of conversion, so they were paid 10%, 300, but they were converted immediately when we started the year. So what will you know? So there is no interest. So we can make it practical. Umeenda stock market. Watu wakikuja, what are we going to save in terms of what? Interest. See, wametoka walipu. So nasema wametoka leo, leave aside. Calculate for me the people who are remaining. So plus those who remain, 10% times what value? See, total ilikuwa 15. Even check the capital structure. The 10% convertible loan stock. 15 minus the 3 they got how much? 12. So this one for the whole year. The remaining you check for the whole year. But remember to multiply by 0.7 pre-tax. 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 So the 0 is not. Just do this. This is 120 by this. How much? 84. Okay. Incremental shares, the same. Incremental shares. What was the policy of converting the loan stock? You are getting 25, eh? You get 25 for every 1,000, and we converted 3. It was 300 or 3,000? 300. But you check for how many months. So they were entitled to earnings for 0 months. What was that talk for a loan stock? Plus 25 over 1,000 times the remaining 12 for the whole year. The whole year. If you want to multiply, you do 12 over 12. Your interest, you could not say, inakuanga ni post tax ama ni pre tax. Ama wewe kwa FM unasemanga 1 minus 1. Inakuanga pre ama ni post tax. Sawa. So how much is this? Cut. So this divided by this, lazima to pay the same kama ile. Ile ilikuwa 2.8. Will this be 2.8? Javana. So this is 2.8. They must be the same. So rank them. Again in the ranking, this will take position 1, this will take position 2. The people with the least effect to be called first. Elizabeth, what is the issue? Incremental earnings for loan stock. There are 2. In 2018, there are people who converted into shares. When you convert into shares, it means you will no longer receive what? Interest. So you check those who converted. So these are people who converted. These are unconverted. Those who converted, they got interest for how many months during that year? They converted exactly at the beginning of January. Ingekuwa 31st January, they were wait for 1 month. So they never earned any interest. So wao wanatoka. Unconverted are the people who will earn for the entire financial what? Period. So Elizabeth, I hope you have understood. Then this one, I hope umeelewa. So let's go to DPS computation. Elizabeth. So panga kitu kama hii tena. How something like this. Very good. Kuna options bado? Badenge. Kwa nini hujasema options na options ni yako? Ama ulisema isi yaki kwangu? Options. Incremental earnings Incremental earnings, we said, is how much? Always what? 0. There is no change. There will be no change. Because employees, options mostly are to employees. Employees, their impact on the company's earnings is the salaries or any other benefit they get. You cannot tell them, and you compare shares now, there is nothing else they will ever get. Okay. So check incremental what? Incremental shares. When employees when they take up these shares, how many shares? The shares will increase by what value? Not value, but it will increase by how much? Whichever. So you check the bonus or the incremental part. Let's read. Note number 4. On 1st April, the company granted its employees the options to buy 4 million ordinary shares at a strike price of 120. No employee had exercised their rights. The average market price during the year was 125. So in another EV, the 4 million has a market value of 125, but they are giving them to take up at what price? 120. So the incremental, you check this difference. This is how much? 5. So you come here and say it is 4 million times 5. You check that incremental, this difference. Useme incremental agenda wanachukua at a lower price. They are being given at a lower price to entice them to take more. So times 5 over 125. So the 5 is the 4 million is equals to 125. Incremental of 5 is equals to how much? Times, when did they issue these options? On 1st of April. So 1st April to the end of the year is how many months? 9 months. 9 months. It's very easy as that. Enanga maneno mingi. How many shares? Shares with that. 0. I'm assuming it's 0. Okay, 4 million. We are working in millions. Yes. 120,000. 120,000. Yeah. Okay. Incremental will still be 0. Incremental will be 0. So for ranking, sorry, I rank before options. So options will be position 1, bonds, loan stock position 2, preference position 3. Like that. So let's do DPS computation. DPS computation. DPS computation. DPS computation. So potential ordinary, earnings, shares, DPS. This can be time wasted. So from basic EPS, how did we calculate the basic EPS? Numerator was 6. Denominator 31.6. 6.7, giving us EPS of 18.9. So bring those potentials based on their ranks. So position 1, bring them first. So options to come first. Option 0, 120, 600. This one will be 151.
No. This should be 0.12. In a factor 0.1 to not 100.
It's not 120. That's you will be there.
I think they are 120,000. 1 million.
So this one is 0.12.
Yes.
No problem. But on 0.
Yes.
So this is 0.12. I increase that one. It will go to 31.79. Give us the new EPS.
18.87.
18.87. 18.87. Number 2 is the 10% convertible loan stock. 84.30. So this is 684. This is 61.79. Get the new EPS. Get the new EPS. You get 11? 11.07. I don't have space. Can you bring the 10% convertible preference? Convertible preference, increase this by 50. Increase this by how much? 5. Then calculate the new EPS. Then we will go for the list. So when you adjust that one, you get 10.99. That is the diluted EPS. Look at you. So now there is a handout I want to check on. So take 5 minutes break. I get that handout. So take a small break as I get the online now. Let me see if I can print. No. And let me see if I can print. So take a small break as well.
Ciao. Ciao. Ciao.
Sono niente da cucire. Bravini, la niente da cucire.
Yo karatasi nimeprint hadi. Asante sana. Si hata standard niliona wanaweka hivi alafu. The way of refreshing. So online I've shared the handout. So for your handout, nimewawekea question 1, nimewawekea EPS, and that's the one we are doing. Question 2 still is EPS. Question 3 is something called hyperinflationary. Tulisoma kitu kama hiyo? Yes. Hyperinflationary economies. Then B is employee benefits. Then paper equals 3 added. Then 4 is the entire question 4 is segmental reporting. So those are the ones you prepare to for your own revision. But I'm doing question 1. So yeah, let's go to question 1. I'll be ready. Ready. So we read question 1A. See kama niliweka kwa hiyo handout. In the context of an ethical management practice, what we learn watatuambia answers. Discuss 4 incentives that could motivate the management of a business entity to manipulate the entity's financial statement as well as the underlying supporting records. What can motivate you to manipulate financial statements? Hebu angalia kwa ile handout niliwapea. Si kama niliweka the last. The last. Hebu angalia ile handout I gave you. The last, the very last, whatever. It is there. Yes, iko kwa, so unaweza nika hapo check the theory handout, the last one. The solutions to that is there. Kutana nayo kwa mtihani, iko hapo. Kutana nayo kwa mtihani upite nayo. So B says the following information was obtained from the books of Panda Limited for the year ended 31st October 2014. So this is the P&L, which you can see there. Additional information. The company has 100 million ordinary shares of shillings 10 each, fully paid, outstanding, and 50 million 8% cumulative preference shares of shillings 10 each, fully paid, outstanding as at 1st November 2013. Each preference share is convertible into 2 ordinary shares before the year 2020. Further, there are 25 million share options outstanding, which were originally issued on 1st November 2010. One share option entitles the holder to purchase 2 ordinary shares at shillings 10 per value. The market value of the ordinary shares of the company was shillings 15. The company also has 100 million 15% convertible bonds of shillings 1,000 each outstanding. Each bond is convertible into 50 ordinary shares before the year 2020. Tax rate is 30%. Required basic EPS. 2, the number of the potential anti-dilutive ordinary shares, then fully diluted earnings per what? Per share. Someone to resend the theory handout to the evening group. So Esther will be shared. So let's start. The basic EPS. So basic EPS. I don't think if this is serious. How many marks? 2 marks. Let's not waste time. Able to analyze your P&L. What is the profit attributable to ordinary shareholders? Attributable to ordinary shareholders, 200. Yes, your eyes can be able to see 200. Work out for 200. Divide by 1 knows. We can be able to get very fast. If you are 2 marks, then come serious. In note 1, they said the company has how many ordinary? 100 million ordinary shares of shillings 10 each, fully paid. So in note 1, ordinary is 100. Number 2, each preference share is convertible. But if you read the entire of that note, hakuna mtu aliconvert. So bado tuko na 100. Even the options which were there, nobody converted. The bonds in note 3, nobody converted. So the number of ordinary shares still remains what? But in 100,000, because we are working in thousands. Eh? Yes, because this is 100 million, so 100,000. So basic EPS will be shillings what? 2 per share. The ordinary which were there, nobody converted. So then now they want us to check Roman 2, the number of the potential anti-dilutive ordinary shares. So can we identify the potential ordinary shares in this question? The same way we were doing diluted, the same flow. So identify the potential ordinary in the question from top. The preference, were they convertible? Note 2. Each preference share is convertible. So we have convertible what? Preference. Actually, it is 8%. 8% convertible preference. Debentures. How much debentures? So before debentures, note 2. Did you see options? There was options. And finally, note 3. There is 15% what? Convertible bonds. So these are the potentials which we have. So don't be worried with the anti-dilutive. Anti-dilutive is one which has no dilution effect. Dilution means EPS should be going down. Ukipata yenye inafanya na increase, that is anti-dilutive. So let's check the normal. Let's start with this, the incrementals. So come here and say 8% convertible preference. 8% convertible preference. Incremental earnings. Incremental earnings. We check at the dividends. So 8% times, what was the value of the preference? Not 1. Don't know to prepare mahali for P&L preference dividends. Are you seeing preference dividends in P&L? Copy 40. But let's calculate if we can get the same. So outstanding and 50 million, 8% preference shares of shillings, 10. So times shillings, how much? 50 times 10. 50 times 10 will be 500,000 because you're working in thousands. So 500. 8% of this is the one which is 40. Sure. Okay. So this is 40. Incremental shares. Incremental shares. Check the policy. How do you convert? If you wish to convert, how do you convert? What is the policy? Each, not two, not two. Each preference share is convertible into 2 ordinary. So you get how many ordinary? 2. So no, for every 1 preference. 2 for every 1 preference. How many preference do we have? 50. So we have 50, which is 50,000. Each preference share is converted with 2 ordinary. So you get 2 ordinary for every 1 preference. And we have 50 of them. You only happy? 100. So divide. When you divide, what do you get? 0.4. And by the way, up to this stage, you can be able to tell whether this is dilutive or anti-dilutive. Are you able to tell? Will this one be dilutive or anti-dilutive? And how are you telling? You can tell. Anti-dilutive, no, dilutive. Before this, we have numerator and we have denominator. 1, 2. Where this one is less and this is more. This is less and this is more. Which one is dilutive? Dilutive. Which one is dilutive? 1 or 2? 2. Which one is dilutive? The one which will give you the least value.
2.
1 or 2? Okay, then let's do So 1. See when you increase. Okay, let's say we are increasing numerator with the 2 and denominator we are increasing by, we are effecting by 4. So assume the initial figure was 8 over 4. So if you decrease this by 2, 6. You increase this by 1. It will be 5. And the other way around, if you increase this by 2, 10. You decrease this by 1, 3. Which one is giving you? Which one is dilutive? Which one? Which one decreases? The one giving you?
The one that gives the least, the first one.
The one.
The first one gives the least.
Assume numerator remains constant. You increase the denominator, you decrease the denominator. Which one will decrease? So the first one.
Yes.
Yes. So the one which is dilutive is the one giving you more shares with less earnings. Less shares, more earnings is dilutive. The one giving you more earnings with less shares is not dilutive. So this one is what? That is dilutive because it is giving you more of the denominator than numerator. Sindio? Yes, this is dilutive. Mimi naona mjelewa hiyo kitu. Mmelewa? Wewe uko sawa? Unajua unachukua neighbor, wewe unasema uko sawa neighbor. Hajaelewa. After exam utaelewa. Sijui nitumie wish. Gilbert, tumie wisdom gani sasa? From normal mathematics, which one will give you more? Okay, we are taking a scenario where you will get a higher figure or a lower figure. When you increase denominator, what do you expect? The figure, your resultant figure will go down or it will go up?
It will go down.
When you do what?
When you increase the denominator.
When you increase this one here, the resultant figure will
Go down. Go down.
go down.
Yes.
If you decrease this, your resultant figure will
Go down.
so niveau. So dilutive is the one which makes it to go down. Antidilutive is one which makes it to what? To increase. So if you check this case, what happens? It is giving you more what? You assume in your head that this is constant. This is giving you more shares with less profit. So this one is what? It is dilutive. It will make EPS to go down. So let's go to number 2. So this is dilutive. Number 2, options. Makenda kuelewa? Options. All options are dilutive. Hata before one. So incremental earnings. Incremental earnings 0. Incremental earnings 0. Incremental shares incremental shares. Can you read that note? Read that note. Note number 2. Each preference share is convertible into 2 ordinary. Further, there are 25 million share options outstanding, which were originally issued in 2010. Okay. One share option entitles the holder to purchase how many ordinary? 2. So you will get 2 ordinary for every one option. How many options are outstanding? Juliet, are you okay? Ulikuwa online? But alikuwa from the start. She will take you through. Yes. You get 2 ordinary for every one option. How many options do we have? 25. We have 25, but we are checking the incremental. So they were given to exercise at what price? Issued in 10. What was the market value? 15. So the incremental is 5. Yes, incremental is 5. Then they were issued in 2010, Kitambo. We are in 2014, so it's okay. You don't wait for time factor. At the beginning of the year, they were there. So, chapa you. You get? 16? Like this. Hivyo. Hata hivyo iko sawa. Kwani kwaje? This one is what? That is dilutive. It will decrease EPS. More shares with no earnings is highly dilutive. Highly, actually, it's highly dilutive. Let's go to the next. Let's go to the next. 15%. 15% convertible bonds. 15% convertible bonds. Incremental earnings. Incremental earnings. Kindly check the interest. 15% times, nobody converted. Oh, I gave them out. Nani akona surplus? So 15% times what was the value? Yeah? The value of the bonds, note number 3. The company also has 100 million 15% convertible bonds of shilling how much? 1,000 each. So it will be 100 million. They will multiply with that value. Remember, we are working in thousands. So first of all, you take the 100, you multiply with 1,000. That's 100,000. So itakuwa it will be what? When we are working in thousands, it will be itakuwa 100,000. Sio? Iko sawa hivyo times 0.7. Ikileta shida unaangalia the P&L. What was the finance cost in the P&L? 15,000. So 15,000 ndio hiyo 15% of 100,000. Na wao waje multiply na 0.7, which gives us 10,500. Incremental shares. Incremental shares. What was the policy of conversion? If the bondholders want to convert, how do they convert? Check that note 3. Check note number 3. How do they convert? Each bond is convertible into 50 ordinary. So you get 50 ordinary for every one bond times the number of bonds. Okay, so 50 for 1 times how many? We are having how many bonds?
100,000.
See? 50 ordinary. Each bond. Those are the number of bonds. Bonds, ne? That's 100 million, 100,000. So you have 100 million. Where? So it will. We multiply. Wacha niangalie kitu kidogo. Nyinyi muangalie how many we have.
Each one 20,000. But you are 8,000.
Yeah.
Yes, just like, so it is 100.
Yeah.
And how many bonds do you have?
100,000.
100,000.
Yes.
Now what was he combined? This one. Huh? Come go over, then it means the second one is not correct. The first one. Sasa hiyo sababu ya zeros ndio inaleta shida. Sasa nione vile wamepanga. The company also has shillings. Oh, goja, shillings 100, eh?
Yes.
Oh, basi hiyo ya kwanza iko sawa. Shillings 100 million. So hiyo ya kwanza iko sawa. Convertible bonds. So if you want to get the number of bonds, you take shillings. Yes. You bring shillings 100. Shillings 100 divided by par value of 1,000. Kizungunye pesi. Shillings 100. Studio? Yes. So that is, we have 100 times 50, giving us 5,000. This divided by this, 2.1. It is dilutive or anti-dilutive? That is anti-dilutive. So more earnings, less shares. Ama ukitoka class uende nyumbani mpate umewekewa chakula. Which of the following is dilutive? Nyama mingi na ugali kidogo ama ugali mingi ugali? Which one is dilutive? Eh? Which one is dilutive? Nyama mingi ugali kidogo. So this one is anti-dilutive. This one cannot dilute. It will increase it, yes, because the denominator is quite less. So read required Roman 2. Required Roman 2. The number of the potential anti-dilutive ordinary shares. So the examiner is asking you, how many ordinary shares cannot dilute EPS? So down there you say, therefore, after finishing that, therefore, the number of anti-dilutive ordinary shares, anti-dilutive ordinary shares is equals to 5 million. 5 million shares. So do you know 5? That 5 cannot dilute. This one here. This one can't dilute. They're asking anti-dilutive ordinary shares. How many ordinary shares can't dilute? 5. This one will dilute. The 16 million will dilute. 100 million will dilute. 5,000 will not dilute. You can still be asked which security, which potential ordinary share is anti-dilutive. Eh? So Boikuliza, which potential 15% convertible what? Bonds is anti-dilutive. Let's go to Roman 3 unless someone has a question. Let's go. Eh? Still in the gun. Yope inapigwa ni gani? How? We agreed the one giving you more earnings with less shares cannot dilute. And we have been trying. This one is giving us more earnings, less shares. It means numerator will go up, itakuwa kidogo. That one cannot decrease the EPS. So kwa sawa. Next, Na mtu asema hii swali imetoka wapi? This is a question in December 2014. Roman 2. The fully diluted EPS. Fully diluted EPS. So we just the normal way. Now we have all this. So just write potential, ordinary.
When the leader arises,
And when the leader arises, which name?
hata kuna watu kama kuna chasa ambao wanaweza tatizika kidogo na lugha hatumii neno lugha kwa lugha kwa Kiswahili ambacho sasa hivi tumepata kiasi tunaendelea neno lugha.
Are you aware they are hiring teachers in Uganda for Kiswahili? Kiswahili has been made compulsory in Uganda. Are you aware? Walipitisha last week part 1. So
I can consider that as being after one.
online. So hiyo kazi ushapata. Charles wewe unataka hiyo kazi?
I can't teach that.
Okay. So from basic EPS, how did we calculate basic? 200 versus but Kiswahili is not an African language. It's African. Yes. Then now we did not rank our securities. Kindly let's rank them.
Yes.
So ranking options, of course. Is position 1, 0.4. Preference is position 2. Convertible bonds position 3. Okay. Mkilizwa anti-diluted, I hope mtafanya hiyo kitu. Usiende uconfuse less earnings, more shares, less earnings, which is which. You know how to identify, isn't it? Aya. Kama itabidi for that day only. Aya, so in the ranking, options takes position 1. So bring options. Okay. Options, position 1, 0, 16, 6, 6, 7. So this is 200. This is 116, 6, 6, 7. Get the new EPS. From Madengi, you can pray in Kiswahili fluently until the end. Gilbert anasema amesikia tu tamaa. How much? Hata kwenda kwenye huko. 1.1. Let's go to the number 2. 8% convertible preference. 8% convertible preference will give us how much of the earnings? 40. Shares 100. So this is 240. This one is 216. 66. 7. Yes. Get the new earnings. You get 1.11, 1.11, then 15% convertible bonds will come with 10.5, will give us 5. So this is 350. 250, 250, 500, and this one 221, 667. EPS will be 1.1. 3. So check what is happening. Ukiangalia hiyo ya mwisho, it has started increasing. That is 1.11. This is 1.13. So it is not diluting the EPS. Because dilution, it means the trend should be decreasing. This one has started to increase EPS. So down there, diluted EPS, we said the list. The list is 1.11 per watt a share. Though not asked, if you are told to calculate the anti-diluted EPS, anti-diluted EPS is 1.13 per share. The one which starts to increase EPS is called anti-diluted EPS. With the examples we have done in EPS, they're enough. So you what you do, where so much to use those ones. So this is like it ingine. Ama Sido reconstruction mwele. Yes, those ones you can check. There is nothing serious. So right there. Akili yako sasa kesho iko free ndio nitaiangalia. So that is one on one. Yeah, I'll mark kwanza. Yes, so you have the free. Even if I'm not around, I will mark and give you the solution. I will definitely. Nitaangalia simu yangu niko na test kama 300. Yeah, so nitafikia one by one. So there's something I want you to read for me about capital market. What is it about capital market? There is something about capital market in your syllabus. Nani yako na hiyo syllabus? Let me check. There is something about capital markets, but not something serious. You need a read for me this. Just a small research, it's not something serious. The Capital Market Authority, that is CMA, corporate governance and reporting requirements. You just Google and write some small things about it. Governance reporting requirements in CMA. All those who have started the other way, CMA, corporate governance, reporting requirements. Reporting requirements. So that is okay. So there are some topics wanapenda kuleta sana in theory, conceptual framework. Here I think you have to tuliandika in notes. Yeah, conceptual framework, those ones we wrote, so they are not in the handout. I don't know whether we wrote this one. This one is also very key. Integrated reporting. You have to tuliandika. So IR is very common. So make sure you check IR. Then there is something called management commentary. I don't know whether we wrote it, but it is in the theory handouts. MD and A. That was MD and A. MD and A stands for management, discussion, and analysis. Iko hapo kwa handout in case we never wrote those ones. Just make sure you check them. Those are very key. Unapenda sana. The conceptual framework, legal ethics issues, human integrity, and the rest. So those ones, just make sure you check. But now, me, I don't predict exam. Kuna siku tulifanya hivyo exam na akatugeuka. So, but if things are okay, hotspot, the hotspot areas, one, cash flow. Whichever, they can bring combined. So you just know cash flow. Other kuna difference between acquisition and disposal. So disposal is subtract, acquisition you add. So if you know cash flow, you know. But cash flow they should bring. And of course, if they are good people, they should bring external reconstruction. Unless something happens, unless there is something which happens, they can bring aid. Then they miss up reconstruction, expect EPS or both. So it means ukienda kwa hiyo mtihani, make sure umejihami properly, external reconstruction and EPS. Then for group, they are likely to examine step acquisition. So step, I may give it 99% chances. Disposal, I may rank disposal at 95. Normal, I may rank normal also at 95%. Foreign, I may rank it at 10%. So it means when you are reading group, answer evil. You start in that order. But si maajabu sana for them to examine. Si maajabu for them to combine disposal and foreign. It's very possible. You find there's a question they have never done that in 2013. You find that we have parent, we have subsidiary, and we have another subsidiary. This one here was disposed during, then this one is in Uganda. So as you deal with the disposal, so this one you will cover the disposal, so you have to account for subsidiary up to the date of what? Disposal. So maybe unachukua 9/12, then this one you translate. So it's not something very unique. It has happened before, so it is not that very unique. And I hope you know how to get percentages of acquisition if not given in the question. If they have not given you the percentage which was acquired by the parent, the examiner must tell you the number of shares acquired in the subsidiary. So you use the number of shares. For example, they tell you the parent acquired 80 million shares. You take that, you divide by the total number of shares under equity. Then for equity, you check how many shares are there, you multiply by 100. So we are bigger. If not given the percentage of acquisition, check the number of shares acquired as a fraction of the total ordinary share capital. So that is it. So this is the hotspot. So you cannot take your left to exam until you do those topics. Those are the key areas to observe. Then semi-hotspot. Semi-hotspots means things which they can examine anytime. They can examine this sitting. Say that you can see a sitting. I'll be able to know. You use? So, semi-hotspots, run share based. Wakilegea kidogo employee benefits. Employee benefits. If I were to rank, I'll give this one 70%. I'll give this one 20% chances. So this one is standing a very good chance. Segmental reporting. Segmental reporting, I'll give it 80% chances. Deferred tax, I may give it 50% chances if I were to run. So, ukisoma, as you revise, our revision starts from here. The hotspot areas. Once you are done, unakuja hapa kwa semi-hotspot. Then others which can be examined anytime. Number one, which I know you don't like, leases. Number two, financial instruments. Ikiwa na sister yao impairment. Impairments ni ajana. Hiyo haina shida, sio value use. So program yourself that way, alafu na combine na theory utapita. That is the arrangement. So in exam, let's assume that this is the structure. Kuna cash flow, there is external reconstruction, there is whichever group. We said you start with a question which is not the easiest and not the hardest. Yenye iko hapo katikati, cash flow. So here you start with cash flow. Then lazima kutakuwa na swali moja unaona unajua. Si ati kila kitu unaona tu. So hiyo itakuwa hapa kwa savings, hapa somewhere here. So kama ni segmental, start with cash flow, come to that segmental which is workable. Number 3 must always be group. Must always be group. When you are not diluted. Yes. 3 must be group. Then maybe you come to external, alafu kuja ufanize na theory. Theory lazima uandike. Kuna kitu wewe andika kwa hii dunia when it comes to theory.
Hiyo lazima kunda lazima niandike.
Theory. Na unaandika as if you know.
Yes, exactly.
Black una underline alafu unaandika na blue. Au ongei sana. Apana, you don't write so many things. Afra theory, you minimize the whatever you are saying. Actually, wakishaona hapo, by the musome sustainability reporting, those things, they are in the hand of sustainability, social, environmental. Ukipata theory, don't write, the more you write, you can, unaweza kosea. Theory kienda sana 2.5 pages. Not pages, sorry, lines. 2.5 lines. Unatosha. Mwalimu wetu wa Afra alisema, Afra theory, you give your theory answers in miniskirt form. You only give the examiner what they are supposed to say. See the story, but however, in the event, so one kuna wenye walikuwa natuandikia, ati for example, where my father is working. Those ones are not required. Ukisha tupea points, inatosha. So my problem comes here. What makes people to fail? Ni hapa kwa group. Please. Hapa kwa group, what makes students to fail is only one thing. Whenever they bring P&L, what is the issue? P&L, what is the issue with P&L? Apportionment. Those periods. Kuna watu wajui kuhesabu vizuri. When the year ends on 30th June, it must be starting on 1st July. Kuna wenye wanakuja wanaweka May. So they end up having 13 months. Hesabu unazipata nje. Ukiona upati months ya 93 or 3966, please count until you are sure. Yes. Because P&L is easy, and actually we know what you're supposed to get in P&L. P&L students normally get this one. They normally get revenue, they get distribution, they get finance costs, they get income what? Tax. So whoever interprets the question properly always gets this one without any problem. So make sure you interpret well. You know whether it was associates, people. But the way I know you, is that an issue? Yes, the issue. Time management. Kuna watu wakishaenda hapo, yeye ndiye alikuwa anafunza watu cash flow na cash flow imekuja. And sasa anaikalia. Gilbert. Each question requires how many minutes? At 35? At 30? 27? What? 36. Each question requires 36 minutes. So you program yourself. Like Afra will start at what time? 9. 2. It is 2. So behind your timetable, right even today in the evening with pencil, any issue. You say from 2 to 2:30 what? I'll be handling my first question. Now usiende na watch serious kama ya nani? Kama watch ya nani? Nani yako na? Mimi na ile watch inafanya hivi yenye unaweza soma. After that you can even dispose. And 2:36 to 3:12. My second question. 3:12 to 3:48. You should be doing your third. 3:48 to 4:20. You should be doing the fourth. 4:20 to 4 which one? To 5. The fifth. Question. So you program yourself. That is when you will realize that when you are sitting there computing goodwill, retained earnings, and CI, you waste time. So if you program yourself very well, within 36 minutes, that question already uko na 14/20 is enough. Then unapata mtu amechukua 50 good minutes, anafanya group. Then akimaliza hiyo group, ndio ana realize wada nilikosea. Ana cancel yote. Anza fresh. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo. So ukijiprogram within 36, you'll be very smart. The things which are irrelevant will not be tackled. Because I think a good way. Unless it is required. If not required, that group accounts you can do with 20 minutes now. Like it costs a balance about party. And you save time to do this. This amount. So rule 1, do all the questions. Tusikutane Moyabe ni after exam. Mwalimu I did 3. I don't know whether. Sasa ulifanya 3. I did 3 lakini hiyo group time ile cut short. If you don't do group, the chances of passing is very minimal. Very. Reason being, group inakuwa na credit marking, group and cash flow. Credit marking means kama P&L, you get 5 ticks, you have 10. Sasa wewe hiyo umeacha. So ni kujipanga tu. Lakini sidhani kama mnaweza kuvuka mwezi. Mtamka mkianguka kila mtu anaanguka hii Kenya, si ndio? So I think there is no problem. Mimi nimemaliza. So now, what do you want me to say? I wish you all the best. Then something else. I know here, I know like 1, 2, I know 3 people, though I may not mention, but I know 3 people who are also teachers in this class. So teachers know how teaching is very difficult. It is not easy. Ama, is teaching easy? No. It's not all about knowing. It's not all about knowing what to teach. It takes so many things. It takes courage. Ukikuja hapo usimame hapa, unaona milia hapo huko nyuma. Ama Joyce hapo kwa kona. Ana struggle kuona nini? And dilution. So unajua when you are struggling, you are straining, unajua lazima ufunge jicho moja. Ukisimama hapo uone jicho limefungwa huko. Figures zinafanya nini? Napotea. So when teaching, we try, there is always what is called balancing. Balancing, you know, I know most of people who have been physical, I know how people operate. Lazima nichokoze madende ndio Susan anaamke. Kuna watu wanalala lakini watu wakicheka wanaamka. So sometimes labda nilisema kitu mtu akasirika. It is normal. Lazima nishtue mtu, niseme Dennis you are this, ndio huyu mtu mwingine afanye nini? Amke. So maybe I said something ikakera mtu. Unajua tutakutana huko mbele. Si tutakutana East Park? Yes. Yes, I'm a very active member, so it's a bad blood. If I said something, I don't know, by the way, sijui. Makena kama nisema kitu ikaingia vibaya, it was not intentional. It was just to make the neighbor to wake up. It is all about balancing. So kama kuna mtu aliona nilimkosea, nasema nini? Pole. Me have nothing to forgive because honestly it was a very good class. Hata nitawamii sana. Sijui mnaweza rudi next semester for fun. Tunasoma for fun. Emma is asking, what about insurance and banking? Yes, we did them. We did them. And in the others, if they have to prepare for IFRS 17 insurance, they are like hapo kwa others, uongeze insurance. So we did them. So I also wish you the best. We are done. We are done. Short course.